Am I correct to say that Kyle Lowry might be the linchpin to kind of open up the rest of the action? Is everybody waiting for that first domino?
You don't think it was the DeLon Wright, Corey Joseph trade late last night? You don't think that opened the floodgates, Alan?
Release the hounds! I had to look it up.
It's pretty anticlimactic this morning when I saw that tweet. I was like, this is what we came out of last night with?
No, I do think absolutely. I think Kyle Lowry, I think that deal is holding up the market, as is Aaron Gordon in Orlando. And I think, both teams really, I think, kind of hold the keys to kind of having that domino effect. Typically teams are going to wait around to see if they can be a part of the bigger stuff before they start moving on some of the other deals. And that's pretty typical of a trade deadline. But I think especially this year, the Raptors, not only Kyle Lowry, but Norm Powell, who they continue to talk to teams and want to get the best possible return on them. And I think there's another thing in play here. There are many more buyers than there are sellers at this trade deadline. And so I think teams are, because of the play-in tournament, there's so many more teams who all of a sudden are looking at getting to the 9th seed, getting to the 10th seed. So if you're hanging around 11, 12, 13, you go, we're not far off. We could still get into the postseason. And so I think that's limiting the teams who are looking to, get off of some of their assets. And I think that's kind of put a little bit of a stranglehold on the market too.
Hey, is it more people, more teams looking for Norman Powell because the asking price is probably going to be lower than Lowry's? Does he have more teams available calling for him?
No, it's a good question, and I think it's going to be interesting. I think the market is – I think it's more of a narrow market for Kyle Lowry. I think because, listen, he's a player who can – you've seen him impact the playoffs. You've seen him impact a championship team in Toronto. And I think, for some teams, not everybody's going to be a place where they're going to be looking to re-sign a 35-year-old point guard. He turns 35 today. But there are a number of teams, who see him as being, a missing piece for them. Philadelphia, Miami, certainly some teams in the West. The one thing, though, about Lowry, he is working with Raptors management. His agent, Mark Bartelstein, about where he might want to play. And so they'll take the different trade offers they have to him and ask him, would you like to finish the year there? Would you like to leave it all? Would you rather look at what we have right now and say, I'd rather just finish out with this team and go into free agency? So that's still a conversation they're having today. I think there's a good chance he's going to be moved. Same with Norm Powell. But certainly the Raptors want to get back, obviously, as much as they can for both. They're going to build around Anunoby, Van Vliet, and Siakam in Toronto, and then they're going to bring in here, whether it's another young player or two or some picks, and kind of transition this team post-Lowry, post-Powell moving forward.
KJZ, presented by Progressive Insurance. It's Bart and Hahn, Alan Hahn, Bart Scott with JWill, talking to Woj right now. Of all the teams that, as you said, it seems like it's more of more buyers than sellers, right? That's what you're saying, and it certainly makes sense considering the play-in. So of the teams that are buyers, that are active buyers, who would you say is going to be, or at least you're hearing might be the most aggressive?
Well, there's certainly teams. It's sometimes how you define aggressive. I think there are a lot of teams who are trying to exhaust every avenue to get better here. But I think you've got to look, too, at who's available in the market. And sometimes, listen, not wanting to overpay for what is out there. Aaron Gordon is a good player. He's a starting player in the NBA, not quite an all-star in the East. And I think teams like Denver, Boston, Minnesota, those guys all really want to improve. They're all in different. Minnesota's a team trying to build its core around Karl-Anthony Towns and now Anthony Edwards. And Denver's a team that's saying, hey, listen, we've got to get better in the Western Conference with Utah, with the two LA teams. But if you're the Nuggets, you're asking, how much do we want to pay for Aaron Gordon, and I think you're seeing some restraint there. And then in Boston, they can they can trade the picks, and they have a trade exception to take in Gordon's salary. Can they offer Orlando enough with mostly really just draft collateral to get a deal done? And I think, for Orlando, those are tough choices too today. Remember, Gordon's got a couple years left on his deal. They don't have to trade him right now, but I think they've been motivated to start, I think, reshaping that roster and kind of not rebuilding, but kind of reshaping it on the fly.
Well, we need a quick answer here. We had Kendrick Perkins on, and he said one of the things that was holding up potentially the rumor that he was hearing about Kyle Lowry to Miami was due to the fact that Toronto wanted Duncan Robinson. I was curious, what are you hearing about why that deal hasn't been done yet?
I don't know that Duncan. I think for Miami, they've got a Duncan Robinson is going to be a restricted free agent. He's going to be able to command. He could get a really big offer sheet in the marketplace. You can't pay everybody. I know they love Duncan Robinson, but they've got, obviously Jimmy Butler on a max deal, Bam Adebayo. Who's going to be their point guard moving forward? Is it Dragic? If you trade for Kyle Lowry and you're going to pay him, so you can't pay everybody. I think that's certainly going to be a name. That has been a name involved in those talks. The one name that I think's relatively off limits for Miami is Tyler Hero.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.